Ooh, it's game time.
Oh my God. I mean, are we going to pretend that we're that we've got things to say, or are we just going to go straight into the songs?
I actually do have things to say.
Okay. I have things to say.
How's the gym?
4 days out of 5 last week, and the day I didn't gym, I canaled. This week,
is that like a walk on the canal, or what's your? Okay,
yeah, it was, and that's because my lift to the gym wasn't happening last week, and then my lift to the gym wasn't happening 2 days out this week, so I did the same. And this morning last night I did not get much sleep, so I didn't think I'd have that much in me. So I went for a 30-minute cycle and a 15-minute cross trainer or elliptical, which is usually opposite of what I do. And I was like, you know what? I didn't think I had whatever it is. I had some of it and I brought it.
Nice.
So I was quite happy with that. I didn't know that I had that much to bring, and then I brung it.
You brought it.
Pretty pleased with that. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Thank you.
Glad to hear it. I am curious to talk at some point about robots making podcasts.
Yeah.
The AI revolution of the doom of our industry.
Yes. So last week, Brendan and I had, or this week, or whenever it was, we had.
Yeah, who knows? Time is a
circle. We did. We had some WhatsApp voice note conversations. I've noticed the fact, and I like this. This is extremely 9, but I like the fact that whatever medium I initiate a message in, you always reply in the same medium.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like if I do a voice note, you always do a voice note back.
Yeah, that is true. I default to text whenever I initiate, but yeah, if somebody sends out something, I will mimic that style because I'm like, oh, they want it this way. That's great.
They want it that way. Yeah, but yes, we had a conversation about robots making podcasts, and when I went out for my walk yesterday, I loaded my phone up with one I made myself. I threw it the Molly Whiskers book, and I said,
oh, nice.
Well, I didn't say anything. I just threw it the book and then hit the button to make a thing out of it. And yeah, it's interesting the bits that it gets wrong, the bits that it...
So elaborate, that's not just text-to-speech then? It's actually making more?
It is doing a full summary. It is a
summary.
level over and above the likes of ChatGPT. So I could throw my book into ChatGPT, which I actually have, and I could tell it to give me a summary and plot summary and all that kind of stuff, and it would do a fine job.
Yeah.
What this notebook LM thing does is it then turns that into a two-handed discussion.
Right.
Like a podcast.
Right. Like this.
With...
Not like this.
Lots of cliches.
Oh, like this.
Yeah. Yeah, like lots of kind of crappy metaphors to help you understand things. Oh, it's like this, and it's like we didn't really need the metaphor. We understood what the thing is, and it's form. Once you've heard a few, you start to see how formulaic they are, and because I knew the content intimately well, I was able to sort of pick apart and go, that character didn't do that. That happened, but it didn't happen with that character initiating it as you said it did.
Yeah.
The other.
Which is very AI to do.
Well, I find that odd considering it's very easy. It must just be in however these systems, quote unquote, understand.
Right.
But like it got the gist, and it got like what it did better is understand the emotional kind of beats than it did the actual facts, which, may be concerning to some, considering Notebook LM is meant to be a research tool. So there is that. And the fact that it mushes facts, but it kind of gets the sentiment. Like, you got the sentiment of the book.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't know. It's not good enough yet if you actually, like I said, if you actually know the subject matter, you can tell, like, it's not that right. And a few of them I've listened to and I've gone, you're kind of talking around this topic, but you haven't actually told me adequately what the thing is that you're then going to riff on. So they kind of do this riff on a topic or like on an article or whatever, and it'll be, welcome to another deep dive. Hey, today we are talking about this article that we got sent, and then they don't always like actually give you enough context. They sort of just start riffing, and it's like, but yeah, it's interesting, and it's only going to get
sounds
better.
like it sounds like when Hollywood makes a movie about something that you know a little bit about, and it's like, oh my god, sure, they got the kind of basics right, but the details are way mushy and weird.
Yes.
yeah.
And they've mangled two characters together and made them one person, and yeah.
And then they say, "Oh, it could. That's the only way it could be done on the screen." Or in podcast form.
Because I was wondering about this, like how many years are we out from a Lord of the Rings full series? Because there's the Amazon
Rings of Power
one,
yeah,
which is, they're using whatever they can. I guess I don't know this, but my guess is they're trying to make it look as much like the New Line films, but I'm guessing they don't have the rights. Otherwise, they would be telling that kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't. They only have the rights to the Silmarillion.
Yeah, Silmarillion.
Yeah.
But they've tried to make it look as much like the films as possible, except for the bits that are like, oh, that's laughable green screen.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a couple of bits where you're like, oh no. Oh, that's ew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I have a few friends that are super into the books and even the movies. I've never heard anybody like love the show, Rings of Power.
No, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right.
I mean, I guess that's Hollywood for you.
I haven't seen the new series because I no longer have Amazon Prime, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's eminently watchable. But
yeah. It's more TV for your eyeballs.
Yeah, there's plenty of it.
There's so much.
There's enough. There's enough.
I had a slight follow-up, I guess, for my free will rants.
Excellent.
One thing I kind of feel like I haven't really said, but it's a distinction that I feel like would help people understand my perspective on free will, is that the no free will kind of only applies to your past decisions. Not only, I mean, like, sure, on one hand, it's like, yeah, they're set in stone. They happened in the past. Duh. You used your will. You went through life and had
the
ups and downs.
You made
you chose your thing, but then you were always going to choose that thing. And so the thing in the past, you can still learn things and change things for the future. You can gain more knowledge, gain more perspective, gain more understanding, and that can shape what your no free will be in the future. Like if you choose not to learn things, then you're just going to keep doing what you would have done.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think there are different levels of choice then. It's like, so been playing this or replaying this game, the Stanley Parable, and there's this, the whole sort of game at the beginning is really about choice. And because the character narrates what you do before you've decided what you'll do. So I won't spoil it because it's worth playing, but the best example being you walk into a room and there are two doors in front of you, and the narrator says something along the lines of, Stanley walked through the left door. You haven't chosen yet.
Yeah.
So you can choose to walk through the right door. And then all sorts of fun things happen in the game. And so there's those kinds of choices.
Yeah.
But then the point that you make, which I really like, is the choice to learn from the choice that you made or the thing that happened to you, and what you choose to do with that information should you assimilate it. And I think that's really interesting. And that gets on to like thinking about the last season of The Good Place, where it was really all about you going through a stage of, or going through an iteration of life, and then ending and kind of, what have you learned? And then what has that done to your score? And then if the score's not at this particular number, then you go back again, or whatever it was. Or you have some tests or something, and if you fail the test, then you have to go back. And so, there's something interesting there about what you choose to. There's what you choose to do versus what you choose to learn, I guess.
Yeah. And then, everything that came before impacts your decision of whether you choose to learn it or not. So in that regard, there's still a little bit of non-free will aspect.
Oh yeah.
Going
there's
into
still a
it.
lot of circumstance.
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like, and also like the pressure, not pressures necessarily, but people around you pushing you to learn or to grow or whatever, or the circumstances that are like influencing you in a certain way impacts your decision on whether you have the ability to learn, have the desire to learn and grow and change. And so I feel like people think no free will means you're static, when I don't see that at all. It's just,
you know what? The word that's coming up for me now is responsibility.
What's that?
Because I think that's maybe what people conflate free will with being, is free will means no responsibility. And
interesting.
I think what's interesting there is, okay, we don't technically, like, it's not that we don't have a choice, it's just we were always going to make that choice. I think that's possibly a better characterization. Because you definitely mentally make a choice.
Correct.
But what we're talking about now is saying, okay, well, you were always going to make that choice. The decision next is, what responsibility do you take and what ownership do you take over that choice?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about whether you learn from it or whether you go, well, it was the other person's fault. They did a stupid thing. There was nothing I could have done. And it's like, if you take some responsibility or ownership over it, then you can affect a change the next time you get a go around with that.
The reason why I brought that up again is I watched this Johnny Harris video on YouTube. Do you know Johnny Harris?
I don't.
He's a YouTube documentarian. He worked for Vox for a while and then moved over to the New York Times doing videos for them. And now I think is just independent. He makes pretty deep dive into a topic documentaries. They're very approachable. He talks a bit too much, but they're easy to watch. And usually really interesting. He does a lot of things on like the borders between countries, but he's also he throws in like wellness stuff. He did one on not using shampoo. He did one on saunas and hot tubs and cold plunges. And he recently did one on sleep. And I can't exactly remember why I felt like the free will and sleep thing were so intertwined. But there was something about it that made me feel like there was a connection there between the quality of your sleep, like what you do in your day-to-day life and how that affects your sleep when you're unconscious, and there being
I was actually thinking the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, also the other way around.
Yeah, the choices that you make, like this morning. So I wasn't feeling super great about myself because I did a load of really good work yesterday. I was really, really proud of myself, really pleased, and ended up just getting a shitload of really delicious meat, just like I got a big meat delivery.
Meat. Tasty meat fire.
Yes. I got up this morning and was very tired, didn't sleep very well, partly because of the meat and eating it a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And so, didn't sleep well, but got up and I was like, no, I'm going to go do the gym thing. And kind of mindlessly, I just gobbled up all of the leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there was something there like, a little bit later on when I was actually at the gym, sort of feeling like, oh, I shouldn't have did this. And sort of with that thing of like, yeah, but like you were slightly zombified and not quite fully awake and with full agency. Yeah. And so I think there is something there about I hate that phrase. I keep doing that. Like, there's something here about, just say what the thing is. I find it an irritating affectation.
I don't.
It makes me think about the choice you make the night before impacts how much sleep you get, which then impacts your choicefulness.
Yes.
Or something.
It actually, It actually does. It's not just a theory in your head. I
Sure.
have some science to share with you.
Excellent.
So this Johnny Harris video was revealing some new research from the Paris Brain Institute. And so when you make a decision, when you make a choice, in your brain, there is a release of a chemical called glutamate. It is a neurotransmitter, so it allows signals to go through your neurons, which are just like little pathways, pipelines and stuff. Glutamate, it's essential for the choices to get to their destinations, but it's like the wrapper on a package. Like you open up the package and then you have the thing that you wanted, but then you have this box to deal with, and the plastic and everything, and that you just toss it outside your door, and it piles up and piles up and piles up, and eventually the street is full. The driveway is clogged, and your street is full, and there's just all this glutamate around, and then it kind of gets in the way. And so the way to clear it out is by sleeping well and sleeping deeply. And so it's kind of fascinating, like the same thing that helps you, which, oh man, the yin yang. I'm just seeing yin yangs all over the place now. The thing that's positive is also the thing that's negative in the same.
As above,
so
below.
Yeah. So yeah, this glutamate, it allows you to make the decisions, and also by the end of the day, there's so much of it you can't make decisions anymore. Decision fatigue is a real thing. It's glutamate.
Yeah, if you've run out of so basically, then you need to just eat a boatload of Chinese food.
So that's MSG. What's the? I don't know.
Which is a monosodium glutamate.
Oh yeah. Okay. Nice.
Boo.
Oh man. So there's a suggestion. There's like a couple hacks that you can do of like taking a siesta midday to purge out some of the glutamate, can make it easier in the afternoon for you to be able to make choices. Another hack is like limiting your decisions, especially early in the morning, like taking the Steve Jobs approach of just having a uniform or meal planning. Yep.
Sorry, listener, I just pointed at my
hand.
I still
on
have a
shirt.
hand on my chest.
Or like meal planning and bulk making your meals, and not choosing what you're doing first thing in the morning. When you get up, like try to just get outside and into the sun and rest. Like allow yourself time to wake up and not necessarily make a bunch of decisions first thing in the morning, was the suggestion of this research study. And yeah, between that and the free will thing, I was just like, yeah, okay, we learned this new thing, and we can then kind of hack our free will a bit to make it easier to make choices later in the day and earlier. And there's also stuff about caffeine, which I didn't quite like. Like it's not uncommon advice to like take a coffee nap where you quickly drink a coffee and then lay down for 20 minutes. Yeah. Or drinking coffee, not having your first coffee of the day until between 9 and 11 a.m., which is supposed to do something with adenosine.
Okay.
And I don't know, the research on that and the logic behind it doesn't make a lot of sense to me and to some people I follow. And so that one's a bit like kind of weird. But a siesta, hard to do, but depending on an occupation and everything. But
yeah, we can get behind that. The
winner for me, man, that sounds wonderful. I'll take a nap.
How has your week been?
Man, I've been so excited for our next segment.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So that's been just a joy.
Has it?
That's been very occupying.
Good.
And oh man, I just had an emotional men's group yesterday. A couple weeks prior, in a different men's meeting, I had said something that had triggered somebody, and they felt really dismissed, and they were really strongly thinking about leaving the group. And I had no idea until he had mentioned it last week, saying like, hey, I've been feeling this way, but he didn't give any details. And then this week he let us all know like what was going on for him. It was pretty emotional for all of us. We were all kind of like tearing up. I was super like shaky because I hate the idea of having hurt somebody, and it wasn't really, he understood that it wasn't me. It wasn't what I'd said. I didn't do anything to harm him. And it was just the thing that I had said was triggering for him because of his own trauma. And then nobody kind of went back to him during the discussion and checked in with him about, and like, we didn't really know, because he's kind of a quiet guy, and we didn't really know that he wanted that or needed that in the moment. And the topic, we were talking about suicide and taking antidepressants to prevent that. And the topic was brought up by another gentleman, and we were kind of all focusing on him and not the guy that was triggered, because we didn't know he was triggered, and the other guy brought it up. And we all kind of went around and were telling our story of our own challenges with suicidality. So yeah, it was just kind of unfortunate. It was nobody's fault, really. It was a bummer. In the moment yesterday when he was revealing it, his trigger point was from something that I had said, which was kind of, I guess, just like not dismissing medication, but trying to I wanted to talk about other options. Like, yeah, that is one option, but there are also other options. Like, we can there's pathways. You can learn new things. You can reroute neurons, and there are options. And he's struggled throughout his life to try those things, and it hasn't worked for him. So he's on medication and feels like he has to be. And so he kind of felt like maybe there was a bit of a judgment there when there absolutely wasn't. We all talked about it, and it was, it was pretty emotional. But in the same meeting, I got these two like massive compliments I couldn't have, like, I didn't expect. And I was an inspiration to one guy who, like, my demeanor, my happiness, my self pleasure and confidence was like a shining light to this guy. And he was like, the first time he met me, is like, is this even real? Like, what is going on here? And then, like, as he got to know me more, he's like, wow, this is really genuine. And I'm so inspired by this. I want that so much. And then another guy who was the guy who was recently divorced, and I gave him the contrary advice of maybe being happy for his wife and his ex-friend. He gave me a compliment too, and was really just super happy I was there and pushing people, and then kind of pushing boundaries and stuff. And we all kind of came to the conclusion, like, we don't a trigger happened. It's really great and vulnerable and open for him to have come and shared that with us, and we're all really thankful for it. And we all still want people to push our buttons and like push back on if we say something and it's not quite, maybe we have a different thought, or there's another way to look at it, or whatever. We all still want it. Universally, we all still wanted that. So that was really great. I was really happy about that, because that's what I do. That's what I like. I always want to be like, well, sure, that's one way to think about it. Let's, there could be another way to think about it. And people were turning to me and asking me like questions about how I would reframe things. I gave them a story about how my favorite movie growing up, and still maybe kind of to this day, sort of, I don't know, it's hard to pick a favorite movie, is The Cable Guy. And there's this moment where Jim Carrey walks into Matthew Broderick's apartment, and there's no messages on the machine, and he goes, "Nobody loves you." And for a long time, whenever I would look at my phone and there was no text messages, there was no phone call, missed calls or whatever, I would look at it and I would say, either internally or externally, "Nobody loves you," just in Jim Carrey's voice. And I realized that was bringing me down. Like, it wasn't that there was no messages bringing me down. It was me telling myself that really brought me down.
Mm-hmm.
And about 8 months ago or a year ago or so, I realized I was doing that and consciously made the choice, the free will choice, to say, everybody loves me, instead of nobody loves me. And after, like, it was hard to do. I would say nobody loves me. No, everybody loves me. And I know not everybody loves me. Like, I'm not, but that's beside the point.
Yes,
a lot of people love me, and everybody that matters to me loves me. And that's great.
Also, if your heart is pure, there is no harm in traversing the world with the precept that everybody loves you.
Yeah.
Because that's just a more open and friendly way to be, rather than to constantly be skulking around the world with a sense of defensiveness, or being inward facing, or not giving your true self, or whatever it is, being snarky, being sarcastic, being any of these things that are ultimately defense mechanisms, because you don't want to entertain the idea that actually maybe you're fun to be around and people enjoy that. And when you find the people who don't buy into your bullshit, you sort of go, okay, that's fine.
You don't need to stick around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like going through life with the precept that everybody loves you, I don't think that's harmful. I think that's a nice way to live. It's just like, I'm kind of cool and people like me.
Yeah.
And people should like me.
That's and good. Now I look at my phone, and no matter what's on the screen, now it's just neutral. I don't say either to myself, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel good. I'm like, okay, there's the phone. It's right in front of me. And that feels really good. That feels really good.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm not like as wanting anymore for people to have been reaching out to me. And I had been at a point where I was like, man, I wish people would just text me more, like to show me they love me, because that's how because that's how I show my love. Is I send, like, oh, this video made me think of you, or this song made me think, I think you'd really like this song, or whatever, and I send it to somebody because that's a path of love for me to send, and I want that in return. And I wanted that so much that it was bringing me down because I wasn't getting it. That's not how everybody shows love. We all have different love languages. And that was cool at the men's group. Yeah, I also came up with a new business idea that I haven't shared with you before, and I'm really not sure about it.
Okay.
There's just so much stigma, and I guess I even have it within myself, but I think it's a really great idea. In a past life, you probably don't know this about me, I have been quite the shoplifter.
Huh.
Like,
that doesn't shock me.
Great. Yeah.
I don't know how, like what you're supposed to do with that information. But
yeah. When I was a child, definitely, what is money? But then growing up, like, still just kept the habit of it, and then in my previous marriage, it was condoned and encouraged. Then just I became really good at it, and so I learned a lot of things about how to plan, how to look around without looking like you're looking around, how to be aware of where people are and where they're moving and their patterns, and it just kind of became second nature. And so I developed this skill that is counterculture.
Sure.
And it came to mind, like, how could I put this to a profitable use that maybe isn't taking away from others.
Okay.
And I thought about creating a company that would perform shoplifting audits, and it would be like hiring a secret shopper that doesn't shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
secret shoplifter. Yeah.
Exactly. I found a pretty good .com. I don't know. I'm toying with the idea. It's not, I've been, okay. So I've been diversifying a bit lately. I like we just talked about this week, I made a new website for my podcast editing, and I'm in the process of regaining my electrical license so that I can do electrician work again.
Nice.
And also at the same time this week, I've had more inquiries into remodeling and consulting and stuff. And it feels like the universe is a bit like, all right, you're expanding. Now we'll give. And that feels good. And at the same time, I'm having this idea of like another avenue. It wouldn't have to be necessarily full time. Maybe it could be, if I get there, but like just an interesting thing to also have.
It's a gig.
So yeah, thinking about it, and the hardest part is kind of just admitting to people who don't know. Like, people have an idea of me, of like conscientious and like, okay. A great example of this is my therapist from a year ago. I told her after maybe like 7 to 10 sessions, we got to know each other pretty well already, and I told her that in my youth I shoplifted, and she was like, "Oh wow, I didn't expect that of you." Obviously, she has some judgment around shoplifting. Yeah. It's not an anti-capitalist like I am, and that made me like, it made it really. I actually felt myself back away from her, and I couldn't open up to her about things that I felt like she would judge me about anymore. So I couldn't. But, I stayed with her for a little bit longer because I still had some things I needed to process that I knew she could help me with, but I was like, okay, well, this is game over here.
Yeah. One of the things I've realized is, there is gradation in quality of therapist. I had a conversation with someone for List Envy a few weeks ago, and I asked them about, I think I asked her what she thought about BetterHelp. And she said what you tend to get, and this absolutely jibed with my experience, or my judgment of the experience, is you tend to get less experienced therapists on that platform because it doesn't pay that well for them.
Yeah.
Because obviously BetterHelp is going to take their cut. And that tracked. It's like, that makes sense with my experience. So and having had someone before who I saw in person and who I was able to tell pretty shaming stuff to, and always be met with a way to feel okay about that and not a sense of judgment. Yeah, it makes a big difference, man. Alive, but that feeling of you feeling like you've been judged by your therapist, it stings. It's like, isn't that the one thing
they're not supposed to do?
Is that number one that you're not meant to do?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and she definitely didn't do it in a way that was like, "Oh my god, dude, what are you doing?" It was like,
but you felt it.
"Oh, I'm surprised. I didn't expect that from you," that kind of thing. And it's like,
that kind of language is like, ooh, don't know, like, especially if you are sensitive to the fact that someone might be sensitive to judgment. No,
I don't feel like I'm sensitive to judgment, but I am. I'm a human. Yeah.
Especially, you've made yourself vulnerable.
Yeah.
By sharing in something that you thought was a safe space. And it's not that it's not a safe space, but it's just like, a little bit harder edged than I expected.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I remember that from, in a very different scenario, but I remember that in the stand-up course, just sort of noting like, Right. Yes. In this particular scenario, I don't feel as safe as I might. And that I don't love that. And that's just, there is a cliche around, I don't know, because like I had this cliche, or not cliche, but presupposition, like when I did the improv course, that it might be a bit less safe. And like the guy who ran it is he was a bit of a guy, but he ran a very safe room, a very safe space. Some of his views as they came out later, like, I don't love that. Some of the things you support, I don't love that. Yeah. But actually, when he came to running a room of strangers, of improvisers who are about to make themselves look silly deliberately in front of people, like he did that quite well. And I went to a session when I was at my hippie thing, and I saw the extreme end of what that looks like. And it was really interesting, like the extreme end of, I'm going to look after you and you're not going to make to feel foolish, even if, I'm asking you to be silly. Like, it's really interesting. And then when you feel what that's like when, you're not quite held in that way, it's just less, just makes you want to go back less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you want to stop putting off what everybody is here for and get to the real topic?
Yeah. Let's rip off
You shaved your beard.
Yep, I did. Yeah. Tuesday, I think I lopped it all off.
Wow. How long have you been growing it?
This time since 2021, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was 2021 when I last got rid, when I last saw my chins. Who's this guy?
What anything in particular prompted, or?
Yeah, it's kind of maintenance, because like in order for it to look as good as it can do, if I'm honest, because it can look all right, the speed at which my beard grows it's quite fast, and it tends to grow outwards to the side, which is not a good look for me at all. And it's really hard to keep it sort of trim, and I don't know that I trust myself to do the grooming. Maybe I can I've got a good set of clippers I've got, which is what I used to lop all of it off now. Well, I took a bunch of kitchen scissors to it first, and then then did the thing. And maybe I could get a bit of sculpting knowledge. I don't know, but it's like it's sometimes it's just no. Yeah, so it was one of those. I was just like, from a maintenance issue, I probably look better with it off, even with the chins, than I do when 3 out of 4 weeks it's just like poof out to the side.
Sure,
I look a bit like I've been dragged through a hedge by a badger. So,
I've never noticed that, but
well, thank you. And also, there is increasing an amount of salt in the salt and pepper beard, which, and a fleck
Beautiful.
of that, a streak of that, it's fine. But actually, like, it does make me look a lot younger when I take off the beard. So, yeah.
I sent you the salt parody of the James Hoffman video.
Yes,
the salt and salt. There's salt, and salt. Yeah, I love that video. Okay, dude, it's time.
Okay,
we got to do the song wars. I'm so excited for this. I've been so excited.
It's not song wars. It's legally distinct. It's a melody battle.
It is time for melody battle.
Yeah, it's a tune tumult.
TM.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune tumult? Is that what you said?
I did.
Wonderful. Tune tumult.
Have you got any preamble for your song? So last week, listener, we decided that the theme for our first inaugural Tune Tumult was the words game changer.
Love it.
We had a memory disagreement in that I remembered it wrong. Brendan remembered it right, but we both disobeyed the rule about duration. So
yeah, we did.
Apart from that,
you didn't remember. Right. I willingly defied the
rule. Defied the rule.
Yeah,
and,
but our plan is 90 seconds to 2 minutes ish.
I think 2 minutes as a cutoff. I think is good.
Yeah, which like totally fits how I write songs anyway. I love to write a short and to the point. Like that was what lack of content was all about. Is like it's just we don't have long songs here. It's just we're just short songs.
Get in, get out, done, get out.
Yeah. One thing I really love about the song that I wrote is a bunch of like inside jokes, just a bunch of little lines that mostly from that episode. But there's also some bigger reoccurring themes in there, and I don't know. I love how catchy this song is, and I haven't been able to stop singing it to myself. And Margaret
nice.
and I have been singing it to each other and stuff. So yeah, I present to you Game Changer. I've been playing by the rules, lost in the maze, chasing shadows in the world that's just a phase. But now I'm breaking free, leaving all of the doubt, ready to ignite the spark that's burning out. I see the colors fade, but I'm not afraid of stepping through the portal where my dreams are made. With every heartbeat, I'm rewriting my fate. It's time to rise up, I won't hesitate. I'm a game changer on an epic quest, not making the high score, just giving my best. Walking through the fire, I'm ready to spark this convergence allure. Every quest and turn, I'm stronger inside. From the ashes I'll burn, I'm ready to ride. Through the trials and the tears, I'll embrace the fight. In this game of life, I'm chasing the light. I'm a game changer on an epic quest, not making the high score, just giving my best. Walking through the fire, I'm ready to spark this convergence allure.
Damn, son, you've got some skills.
Thank you, mate.
That is wow. I love your soaring vocals. I love the positivity. I love the I'm not making the high score, I'm just doing my best. I love the full throatedness of the singing, and I love how you've mixed that in at the end. Yeah, like that's some shit I can't do. That's really cool.
Thank you.
That is fun. That is
Thank
a
you,
fun song.
Yeah, I did use AI to help me out a little bit.
Really?
I did.
Interesting. I didn't expect that of you.
I know.
No, go tell me about that.
So I wrote a bunch of the inside joke lines that I wanted to have incorporated, and I was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, can you just like fill this out a little bit?" Yeah. And so all the lines that are kind of just like not necessarily about the show,
yes,
and they're kind of just like fluff lines to get you.
They're the mashed potatoes. Yeah.
The lines like that I'm really proud. I mean, obviously, Game Changer, and that having the topic, the style kind of be like chiptune and all of the lyrics kind of being gamified. That was kind of my tweaking. And not making the high score, I felt like that was because that was something that we had talked about on the previous episode. Of like, I don't feel like I'm achieving a high score this round, this ego life. And so that was kind of in my head. Walking Through the Fire was the documentary that we were talking about in the previous episode. Obviously I threw Convergence in there because I thought that would be fun. Lighting Up the Dark to me was like enlightening somebody who's like keeping themselves in the dark. That was kind of my thought about around that. And then I had Through the Trials and the Tears was kind of an allusion to the arbitration stuff that we went through. And there's a bunch of, it was just so fun when it all just came together so quick. I finished it on day 2.
I was going to say, like, because you started it on Friday.
I started it on Friday.
And then, wow, amazing.
And I think I tweaked it the next couple days after that. Yeah. But it was like 99% done, and I was just adding little extra things. So I've been kind of working on some music stuff for the past couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my head in the game of wanting to make music stuff since I did mushrooms and wrote that poetry and was like, oh, I really want to do something with this. And I'm working on that. I'm working on that with Cameron, and he's going to be helping me kind of. So he's an opera singer. He knows a lot about music theory and stuff. And like, we're going to kind of combine our skills to make something that's really weird, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. I'm so glad you liked it. I've been so dying to play this for you. So, and I'm super excited to hear what you've come up with and what's going on. So tell me about it. What's the preamble? What you got? What you got for me?
I might just hit play and then we can go from there. There is less significance. This all happened today.
Wonderful.
The idea came to me in the shower at the gym of what it was going to be. So here it is. It's called Game Changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my vibe now. I'm sick of pretending to be a friendly, affable, nice guy. I'm very mean, and it's time you all knew it. Now I'm going to say some things that I've wanted to say for a long time. Oh boy, these are my real thoughts. This is totally off the dome.
If you want to start a revolution, throw a 6 and climb the ladder, add a tad of piss and vinegar and try and avoid the add amount of points will drop the hammer if you climb before the adoration. Patient is the potion that'll heal a broken nation. Sticks and stones will break bones while I drop bombs. Rhymes like air drones, delivering love from me to you. Now can I get a witness worthy of a cringe? Well, no doubt, but still sick. If you want to make a ruckus, then a plan can be arranged. But better call me Sam Reich because the game done changed.
Oh my God.
One would stumble into the right answer every so often. The probability of never guessing right in the full game is a statistical wonder. And yet, here we are.
Oh, you made a podcast? Well, I've quit about a dozen. Doesn't matter why. There ain't no way to stop this brain from buzzing. Wasn't it yesterday I came up? So don't call me your discussant, because I'll federate your mother, then I'll syndicate your cousin. When I'm up on the open web, my rhymes get slicker. Can I concatenate all of the characters, getting your calories counting quicker? I make it to mack on my buttons, I'm like the original joysticker. Playing the game, I've been playing the game, and my monitor don't even flicker. If you want to take the king, you better drag him off the stage. But if you miss checkmate, my dude, the game done changed.
Dope! Holy shit, dude!
I was supposed to have done some work today and I didn't, and I did that instead.
Oh, you did better. Holy shit, dude! Wow! Oh my God! The Brennan and Ryan quotes, the fucking the rapping, dude. Like, that's some skills. I had no idea you had that in you.
Neither did I.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Did you do the whistling?
No. That I was trying to find something suitably Dixieland vintage. So that is just a sample, not a sample, but yeah, it's royalty free music.
Incredible, dude! Holy shit! I'm blown away. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun writing those lyrics.
Damn. No. Oh my! Wow. That's gonna be on a repeat. Holy shit! You gotta send me that.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Are we gonna like post these YouTube channel or something like
something? Yeah. So I started a blog today.
Hello, Mark Steadman of the new blog
because I wanted a place to put like stuff like this and just like talk about the weird and the wonderful and all the stuff that I'm into and like care about. Last week,
holy shit. I cannot. That's incredible. I thought I had the winner, dude.
It's not a competition. This is not a competition.
It's a tumult.
It's a tumult. Exactly.
Actually, I don't even know what a tumult means.
No, I think we're using the word wrong. But yeah.
A loud, confused noise, especially one caused by a large mass of people.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that seems
That
about right.
actually works.
That's pretty good. It's definitely a confused noise.
Tune tumult.
Yes, so
your blog.
a few weeks ago, we talked about a website called Web3 is Going Just Great.
Yeah.
Written by Molly White, who I hope it is not problematic to say is definitely going to be my future wife. But I'm sure there are lots of people who would say the same. She's just wonderful. Cool. She's just my kind of person. And what I mean by that is she gave this talk at XOXO last week about the open web, and I make the joke about her being my future wife. I think she's probably about 10 to 15 years not that many years my junior, but I think
Sure.
she might be late 20s, early 30s, which is all the more interesting considering she is a proponent of the web as people like me and perhaps you remember it.
Right.
Which is full of independent stuff, full of weird stuff, full of stuff that we own ourselves rather than, on platforms that we've given over. So, fuck Medium, fuck Substack with its support of Nazis, fuck, all of these different systems and Facebook and X and all that bullshit.
Yes.
Not that it's all bad, but like just that sense of recognizing a web that we felt like we owned and we felt that was ours. And she talked about building websites in like hand coding stuff in Neopets and then in MySpace, and like just the idea of making stuff that's weird and it's yours and it's all that kind of stuff. And I just watched the talk and I thought, this is brilliant. This is just like, yes, and my axe. Just like, I'm thoroughly behind this. And it's just, there's been a few things that have been slotting into place in terms of wanting to have a place to talk about that stuff, have a place to share the stuff that I think is interesting and thinking about preserving the web, like that's why there's a little allusion to it in the track. Like, when I'm upon the open web, my rants get slicker because, like, I kind of want to make a little nod to that. And so, I set up a little blog in my writing hour that I facilitate on a Friday. I just use that to get it set up on Ghost and write a quick post. And so, stuff like this. I've also posted an episode of Convergence to it because, like, I don't really talk about Convergence, and I'm so happy with it. It's such a good show. And so, posting a little blog post for each episode as it comes out. Nice. And yes, with your, I don't know, permission is the right word, but with your blessing.
Blessed.
I think I would like to put the songs on maybe, and I was thinking about this, so I'm toying with, and I don't expect anyone to sign up for it, but I just thought I'll make the infrastructure there, and then I can think about it at a later point of, like, people want to throw in some money to just say we like what you do. Then I was like, for those people, maybe they get it super early. The song, maybe they get it, I don't know. Sure. I definitely like the idea of putting the song up there. We can, like you said, put it up on YouTube. We can, in fact, this could be fun if we use something like Amuse.
I'd love to do that. You'd have to, I don't know if you'd need to get rights for those samples or not, but
the samples I'm okay with because they're royalty free. I think sweet. Apples you're always good for. The Brennan and Thingy would have to, they'd have to go.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
They'd have to go. Unless I could revoice them.
Revoice them for sure.
There's some options there because I definitely do like the idea. Like, if we're going to keep doing this, they do need to be collected and preserved and made whole into their own little thing, so that people can. I went back to, so there used to be a show called Flat 29's Big Book of Everything, which is still available online, and it was these three young lads from the UK. I think they were like university friends, and then they kind of stayed in touch, and they made this. They used to do little bits of internet japery, and they had this show. I only found out about it because I used to very briefly run a podcast review site. I was possibly one of the earlier ones doing it. I
did too, but I was not one of the early ones.
No, well, yeah. This was 2009, and I gave someone an excoriating review in a very internet keyboard warrior kind of way. It was a shitty review, but it was also kind of a shitty podcast made by people who had access to do better, and they read it. And I think like one of them was a comedian, the other one was not. And I think the comedian was kind of quite sanguine and, you know, fine. But the other guy, I think he was like hurt by it. Like he was kind of, like, because he kept picking, like I'd misspelled a word and he kept like picking it apart and stuff. And like, he really didn't like it. I completely lost my bottle. Sorry, that's a British phrase. I completely like lost my nerve.
Oh,
and I even changed my internet name for a long time. Like I got no blowback. I mean, I felt bad, and I felt like that had an impact. Like that did something.
Yep. And I didn't like how it felt.
Yeah,
that's how we learn.
Yes, it is. That site, while it was up, a guy from Flat 29 wrote to me and said, we have this podcast. And I started listening to it, and I enjoyed it. There were bits that are like a bit naive and a bit like, you know, whatever. But there was some good stuff in there. And they used to make a song, I think, every week. I can't remember if it might have been not each one of them made a song each week. I think it might have cycled. Whichever way. I know one of the three of them was not necessarily the musician of the group, but the other two kind of were. And there was one that I think back to a lot because it was an absolute banger. Unfortunately, so when they put it on the podcast, they used music that they did not have the royalty for, and it was a great melody. And it was so catchy, and it was just like this, a little bit like the sort of not Dixieland, but like it was a kind of a 1920s kind of jazzy kind of thing. They wrote their own lyrics, and it was like Marjorie. So the premise was it was a love song for an octogenarian. And so it's like, Marjorie, I get a funny feeling when you look at me. Baby, I can see what's going on. I just want to find the time to make you mine, Marjorie. It was just such a little bop. And then there's a rap and all that kind of stuff. So I was definitely kind of channeling a little of that. What they ended up doing is they released a little album on iTunes, as it was back in the day. And they had to, for that one, they had to swap out the melody, and it just wasn't quite as memorable. But yeah, like, that's something we can do and have fun with. I mean, let's see how we are in 2 weeks' time.
We'll see if we can keep up this.
Yes,
but like fucking out of the gate, dude. Like this is some quality shit. Oh my god,
I had fun. I kept, because I was doing some client work today, and I kept like having little lyric ideas in my head, and I had to pause what I was doing and go and write them down and try and find all these little. Because there's little internal rhymes and all that kind of stuff in there. I've never written anything quite so fast.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. And I didn't think I'd be able to do it at speed, but for the most part, it was all at speed. Like I had to take a couple of takes, because breathing is difficult. But so there you go.
Wow, dude, I am so impressed. I fucking love it. Holy shit. I'm a bit speechless. I'm just blown away. No. Really thought I was going to win this thing. And not that it's a competition. It's not a competition.
Not that it's competition.
I was like, oh shit, I'm going first. Sorry, man. But
I love it.
But no, I've been humbled.
To be honest, I was expecting. This is one of the great worries is like you do something that's really earnest and which you did, it was earnest, like that's like deeply emotionally resonant, and then I come along with my silly rap song. Like that was very much a risk.
No, it's I just fucking love how we came at it from
completely different angles.
Yeah. No, I super loved your game changer quotes and the Brennan rants, and oh my god, I saw somebody did a little like of one of those rants. Somebody did an animated version of it on YouTube, and I think about that occasionally because it's just so, man, his rants. That dude is
that dude.
Yeah, like you said, it's a phenom. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Get in the comments. There you go.
Get in the comments.
Get in the comments. I'm hungry now.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I correct me if I'm wrong. As always. Print.
Yep.
But what I really mean is, I lost it.